Hello and welcome to ReginaldESQ. I'm Underhook and this is my review of the Tier 6 French heavy tank, the ARL 44. So is it any good? I don't think it is, no. It's not terrible, so it's not on the bottom of the pile, but it's definitely below average in my opinion. Why? Well, because it has armor that's quite weak, especially if you know where to hit it. It is incredibly weak. And it has what I would think considered to be brawler guns. So we have a tank with brawler guns and sniper armor, as well as it has some terrible weaknesses. Anyway, I'll get into the review and I think it'll become clear. The other thing, of course, that makes it bad is you got terrible armor and it has the second lowest hit points of any Tier 6 heavy tank. 820 hit points. Now the lowest is the KV-1S with 810 hit points, but that has much better armor and much better maneuverability in my opinion. So 820 hit points, second lowest, the highest being the Churchill 7 with 960, so it's a big difference in hit points. Well, actually the highest is the TOG 2 with 1400, the TOG 2 premium tank, but that's a really unusual tank, so I try to sort of exclude that. Weight, it weighs in at 47 tons, which is about average, and the speed of 37 kilometers an hour in forward is actually pretty good. On the flat, it goes all right. It takes a little while to get speed, but then it's okay. However, as soon as you start turning, the tank almost stops. The turning really bleeds off the speed fast, and it has a terrible track traverse. Now, comparing the speed, it's pretty good. It's not as fast as the KV-1S at 43 kilometers an hour on the flat, but up a hill, this thing actually keeps up, or even probably slightly quicker than a KV-1S uphill. Now, the track traverse though of 20 is pretty bad. Only the KV-2 and T150 at 18 are worse. This is equal with the TOG 2 and Churchill 7 in its track traverse, so it's pretty slow. And like the KV-1S has a 30 track traverse. So a KV-1S can in fact circle this tank and you know, circle it like a medium. Medium and light tanks will circle you and just destroy you, especially if they manage to track you, and this tank is pretty easy to track. Now the turret traverse of 23 is also not really good. Only the KV-2 is worse with 17, and that's tragically slow. But the next worst would be, say, the T150 and the VK3001H with 25, but everyone else is getting up towards 30. View range on this is the equal worst, 330 meters view range, and it shares that honour with the 3 of the Russian heavies. Didn't worry me though, because I use this as a brawler tank, but there are some people who reckon this is a sniper tank, and so yeah, you would need other tanks to be spotting for you, because 330 view range isn't good. I don't think it is a sniper tank, because the guns are just too inaccurate in my book. However, if you do like sniping, it does have the best signal range in class of 750 meters, which is a fantastic signal range. Now, camouflage wise, look, it's poor, but then it is a heavy tank, so you can't expect to have great camouflage out of a heavy tank. Gun depression wise though, it's very good. It has 10 degrees of gun depression, and that's the equal best. The M6 and the TOG 2 also have 10 degrees of gun depression, although they do have much better elevation. The M6 has 30 and the TOG has 20. This only has 15 degrees of elevation, which can be an issue when trying to shoot up at opponents who are much higher up than you are. Now, let's have a quick look at the grind for this tank. Now, the tracks are an essential upgrade. They take you from 18 to 20 in track reverse, and you really need to do everything you can to improve your track reverse. I would also think clutch braking would be a good one to get on this tank if you possibly can, for training your crew. Engine goes from 575 horsepower to 750, but it's not really that much quicker. It's a bit better, but it's not that much better. The radio, yeah, if you want it. The turret upgraded, because I actually free XP'd to get this turret, because there was no way I was going to use this turret. I'll show you how it looks in a minute and you'll see why, but anyway. Here's your top 3 guns. Basically, the first one I'm showing you is the basically an upgraded version of the gun you had on the BDR, which was an excellent gun on the Tier 5 heavy tank. So the upgrade is they're giving you extra penetration. So it penetrates a higher penetration than it had on the BDR, but it's the same damage as on the BDR. So we've gone up a tier doing the same damage. Yeah, I don't like that, but oh well. At least the pen went up. The rate of fire also went up from 6.32 to 6.82, so it's a little bit quicker. And the accuracy is a little bit better from 0.4 to 0.39. However, the aiming time has gone from 2.5 to 2.9, almost adding half a second onto aim time. which is a bit of a problem because the BDR had good armor for its tier, whereas this tank has pretty bad armor for its tier. So having to stay out in front for almost half a second longer to aim is a real problem. Plus, it really doesn't feel like it's as accurate as they're saying it is. However, it is what it is. Now you can move on to then this gun, which is basically an upgraded version of the F3. Still a 90mm gun. It drops a bit of rate of fire down to 6. However, the pen increases massively to 212, which is the highest pen of any tier 6 heavy tank. It's fantastic. Still only does the 240 damage, and 240 damage is actually average for tier 6 heavy, so it's not a terrible pen. And it has 0.38, so it's slightly better accuracy yet again. However, I think that's fictitious. I think it's at least 0.4 or worse, but the aiming time goes way out to 3.4. This is, I think, the gun people use when they say they snipe with it, because I guess you can snipe tier 8s with a 212 pen, you'll still pen them. And you can't use it at close, medium range because of the long aiming time. You just get blown away. But look, I actually found I did better with this gun than with this gun. Even though this has got more pen, I found the F3 was better simply because the aiming time is better and you tend to be able to just get the shots off without getting killed. At the end of the day, though, I didn't use either of those. I went with this gun. I didn't think I would. I thought I would prefer the higher pen, but I didn't. I went with the higher damage. This is an unusual gun. It has a 5.61 rate of fire, which is a bit slower than the other guns. It only has 165 pen, which is much lower than all of the other guns. However, the KV-1S, for example, has 175 pen, and that's very good pen. So 165 pen is actually not too bad, and it's pretty good at this tier. It is a bit of an issue though against tier 8 tanks. You will have trouble penetrating, but you can switch to premium against tier 8s, which give you 223 pen, which is very good. Now it does though 300 damage. That's the second highest in tier 6. Only the KV-1S with 390 is higher as far as heavy tanks go. So this, the difference is this gives you respect. When you hit someone with that, they don't want to get hit again with it, and they tend to back off and not be so brazen and just trying to penetrate your weak armor. They tend to kind of think, oh, I better be careful now, I don't want to get hit again. That's the benefit of this gun. And it has the same aim time as the other two guns. Still 3.4, but it does more damage. It's not as accurate, however, at 0.41, but the additional damage is the key here. Now, if you do use premium ammo, really weird on this gun, you actually do more damage. You do 330, 10% more damage with premium ammunition. Very strange. I would think, though, a lot of people out there would be using only premium ammunition in this tank because of the additional damage and the additional pen. As you know, though, I hate using premium ammunition, so I basically hardly ever use it. I do admit, though, I have been using it a little bit against tier 8 tanks. But this gun, yeah, because I fight close range with it, this is definitely the gun. And look, the 165 pen works in most cases, especially if you're aiming at weak spots from close range. And you don't really always have to wait for it to fully aim if you're close range. And that's the benefit of this gun. You don't have to worry about the aiming time as much. Alright, so I've spoken a fair bit about this tank. Let's get in, have a look at into Tank Inspector, check out the armor, and then get in and have a look at a game in this tank. Oh, yeah. I did promise I was going to show you the tank with the stock turret. That is the stock turret. It looks like a small house, chimney on the roof, and yeah. So you can probably see why I didn't play it with this turret. I just couldn't play it with this turret. I free XP'd through this turret. It is actually heavier armor with 100 mils at the front, but it's so flat, it's just, yeah. But anyway, it's worth a laugh. Okay, let's have a look at the ARL 44 in Tank Inspector. Seen here with the 90mm gun with a different muzzle on it to the 105mm. Alright, so let's have a look at the colorized view. We can see that the upper plate is quite thick. It's 120mm thick, which for a tier 6 heavy is actually very, very good. It only has one weak spot on it, which is right here. And if I just take it out of the colorized view again, you can see that that is a machine gun port. So if you're in a light tank or medium tank and you're close up, butted up to one of these guys, you can shoot it through that machine gun port. It's only 50mm stick, so you shouldn't have any trouble penetrating it. Hard to aim for at range though. The lower glacis is pretty weak at 50mm, but you can see here it's telling me ricochet, so it is on a very sharp angle. However, I get penned there a lot. So either I'm elevated to them or they're just overmatching it because it's only 50mm. So if your gun has, say for example, 200mm of penetration, you can punch a hole straight through it because you'll just overmatch. So yeah, that's a bit of an issue. The other really major issue and weakness on this tank from the front is that you can penetrate through the tracks and you actually hit the hull. The hull goes right through, just like the Churchill 7 does, so the same weak spot. You punch a hole through here, if you've got enough pen to do it, and you'll track it and damage the tank. Major weakness. So here, 120 mils of heavily sloped armor, giving us 150 mils equivalent, or just shoot the track, it's about 91 mils equivalent. Great. So you get pinned in the tracks a lot because a lot of people know it. And the tracks are very big and obvious and can be hit from all sorts of angles. Even in here will do damage to the hull. Alright, so the sides of the tank are quite weak as well, 50mm and 60mm here, but 50mm in the hatch. And up here, it's 50mm. So if you try and angle to increase the strength of this frontal armor, you just get pinned in the side. The tank doesn't side scrape very well. Rear of the tank is also 50mm. Top of the back here is 30mm, and the top deck of the tank is 20mm. Moving on to the turret, we can see the rear of the turret is 30mm. The side of the turret is also 30mm. The cupola is 50mm, which is at least not too bad. But the big drama here, we've got a frontal plate which is 110mm thick, which is actually not too bad, although it is very flat. So anybody with more than 110mm can penetrate you frontally. The mantlet is exceptionally strong, 70mm overlaying 110. It's giving us the equivalent of 290 there, so no one's going to penetrate the mantlet. However, they can penetrate the turret, but the major issue is not that. The major issue is these cheeks here. Even though they're very heavily sloped, and this is the major flaw in this tank, it's 30mm of armor. And you can see here, even though this angle, it's only giving me the equivalent 44mm. So if my gun is pointing directly at my opponent, 42mm, 43mm. Is there anybody in the game that you are going to face that cannot penetrate that? No. So basically what you try and do is get a little bit sort of hull down, cover that, and snipe with the turret, and hopefully they shoot around here because they don't know. Because without the colorized view, it does look like it's well armored. And the frontal plate is a big target, so it's tempting to shoot it. So some people will shoot it and you will bounce off it. But if they know how weak this is, and I have shot other ARL 44s here when they've been closer, it's gone bang, and it just goes straight through like it's not there. It's like butter. Not only is it only giving us the equivalent, but even let's say it was giving us a ricochet angle, like, oh, it's still not giving us ricochet, but let's say it was a ricochet angle, they're going to overmatch. 30mm, if their gun does more than 90mm of penetration, it's going to overmatch and be guaranteed penetration anyway. Major weaknesses makes the tank as weak. The armor's like paper. So basically, try and shoot tanks, harass them, but back off. Try and shoot tanks when they're occupied by other tanks. Shoot heavy tanks when they've already fired their gun. Pop around, shoot, pop back. That's your best bet. Try and stay alive and use your high damage 300 damage gun to get as much damage as you can done as quickly as you can, and then take it from there. But it's not a great tank in my opinion.
Let's go.
Map is Pearl River. Tier 6 game, and we're in our Tier 6 ARL 44. As you can see, the tank actually accelerates reasonably quickly to about 30, then it takes a while to get any faster than that. Now, in this game, my crew is fully trained. I have vents fitted, so of course that increases the crew skills a little bit. But this is version 9.2 of the game, and I have a mod that automatically fits my camouflage net and binoculars to the tank. But I haven't got the mod working, and I forgot to manually put them in. So all I've got is vents, no other equipment. Other than I've got, you can see, small repair kit, large first aid kit fitted. So fully trained crew, and they're all about halfway through their first skill. Most of them have got repairs, except the commander's got mentor and, here we go, leopard. He's not looking. I'm taking my time. It's not a very good gun, and I don't want to miss. 319, you can see to a leopard, that's a big deal. So this gun, this is why this gun's good, because that leopard now won't be wanting to be cheeky with me. Same with the Stewart. Big shot, he's nearly dead. So he won't want to get cheeky with me either now. And this is where doing the additional damage with this gun makes it worth it. Even there, we put one into that VK for 331. He puts one into us too, but he only does 160 something damage to our 300. Unfortunately, I'm not loaded and I can't get my shot off there. He comes charging forward, put another one to his low plate. This time he does 228, so he is hitting us with HE ammunition. He would actually be more effective probably using normal ammunition if he... unless the HE hits us on the side of the turret there. But even so, because it's sloped, so we do 312 to him there, he's in big trouble now. So yeah, he would have been better off using AP ammunition against me. He probably thinks I'm hard to pen. And you can see there that we didn't need to do the full aim time because we're so close. And that's why I say this gun is better brawling than it is sniping, because, or at mid-range. Mid-range is the worst place to be, because at mid-range, everyone is still accurate enough to penetrate you at your weak spots. And you have to stay for so long in front of them aiming to actually hit that they will smash you to pieces. So either close range or extreme long range, and I just found extreme long range I was just missing all the time. So this is how this tank is for me. It's a brawler, but you just got to be really careful in it, and very, you can't just barge forward like you can with some tanks trying to blow everyone away. You can't afford anyone to get to the side of you either, because you're totally stuffed. So KV1, he can penetrate me fairly easily. I hit him in the tracks there, thinking that it would go through the tracks into his hull, but all it did was track him. So not that many tier 6s in this game, a fair few, but a lot of tier 5s and some tier 4s. So you can see me being pretty cautious here. I'm trying to hide my lower plate and just, yeah, trying to get him to shoot my upper plate if he comes around the corner. I'm waiting for the KV1. I don't want to drive at the KV1 because then he'll get the first shot on me. And if he tracks me, he may actually get a couple of shots into me before I can back away. And he can penetrate me quite easily, especially if he knows where to shoot. Although the last time he hit me with HE ammo, so... But it doesn't... It's not the HE gun. So he's using HE on the gun that's not a HE gun. So see there, fortunately when he hit me I was maneuvering, so he wasn't... And I turned just as he fired, so he probably didn't hit me where he wanted to hit me. Either that or he wasn't that skilled anyway. So now, even coming up here now, I'm going to be very, very careful. Oh, I thought I was being careful. I got hit by artillery there. 161 damage. Fortunately, it's only a tier 4 arty and doesn't do a heck of a lot of damage. Okay, so arty's been spotted, but the spotter is now dead. Take a shot at this guy. Wait for it to aim. This time I have to wait for the aim, and it goes true. Now the other arty was just there, but he's lost his spot, and I'm not willing to move out in front because one arty shot could finish me, and it's not worth me getting rid of that arty just for that. Now on the map, which has just been highlighted, the enemy is right near our cap, so time to get back and defend. We're being beaten. It's 7-10, not looking too good for us. Bear in mind, this is a good game for me in a tank. I have done a Top Gun and had a few pretty good games in this tank, but this is 9.2 version of the game, which just came out yesterday, and all of my previous replays have been corrupted and are useless, so I can't show you those. Not that I really had a lot of good replays in this anyway. So lining up this KV-1S, I was going to shoot him in the back and try and set him on fire, but because he started moving, I didn't want to take a chance of my shot missing, so I decided to aim further forward of the tank in case he started moving again. I didn't wait for a full aim there because I was worried about getting hit, and it was wise to shoot and move back, as you saw there, because he would have hit me. And we were lucky the shot actually went true and did a lot of damage to him. He's almost dead now. So this M7 actually bounces off the front of us, and we managed to get another shot in. So this is why you're seeing this game. You're seeing this game because in this game I was very lucky and my shots were accurate. This is not indicative of typical gameplay in this tank. Cromwell penetrates us. That one dropped a little short, but it actually went pretty straight. As far as, yeah, it didn't go off to the side or anything. Now it's 94% cap. I'm just rushing the cap here now. I think I've just got to do it. So this guy's sitting here. I shoot him. This time I do manage to hit his engine or his fuel tanks. He fires at me but bounces. Because I was maneuvering, he had to take the safe shot and went for my upper plate, and we bounced it. Now I can see this other SU-85 here, so I'm turning my turret, and he gets me. Well done for the SU-85. He didn't have much health left. So yeah, I got killed at the end there. I really felt the pressure because they were capping so close to capping. I just had to rush in and, yeah, not worry about my safety at all. And it was very lucky that we set that KV when it's on fire and managed to kill him. That was really lucky. Anyway, we got mastery in the tank with this game and high caliber. Let's have a look at the next screen. And we finished on top for experience, and we also finished on top for damage by quite a long way. And we did more damage than anyone on either team. In fact, we did double the top tank on the other team. And if you look at that, even though we lost, we also earned more XP than anyone on either team. So, good game. 14 shots fired, 13 direct hits, which is great because, yeah, just close range mostly. And we had a couple of lucky shots there. So the only one we missed was that one on the Cromwell that went into the dirt. Of the 13 that hit, we got 13 penetrations, which is great. So you can see the 165 mils of pen at tier 6 is not an issue. At tier 7 it's a little bit of an issue, it still goes okay, but at tier 8 it's a major issue, and you probably need to use the premium ammo if you're using that, the 300 damage gun, the 105 mil. If you want to use the 90mm, the 212 pen will still be okay at tier 8, but you're only doing 240 damage. So damage 3426, which is quite a lot for this tank. Damage from a distance over 300 meters, only one shot was what you call a long range shot. Hits received 10. Someone will get that phone in a second. Penetration 6, so actually bounced 4 shots. That's probably higher. If you're in a tier 8 game, you wouldn't bounce anything. Blocked by armor 470, that's great. Enemy vehicles spotted 3. We damaged 8 vehicles, which is really great, and destroyed 4. So we had a big role in that game. 51,000 income. Then we got another close to 5,000 for that courageous resistance because we got high caliber. So very profitable tank because we didn't use premium ammunition, so the ammo is quite reasonable cost. With the courageous resistance brought us up to 1271 XP, which is obviously enough for a mastery badge. Okay. Thank you for watching my review of the ARL 44. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more reviews and gameplay, please subscribe to ReginaldESQ. Have fun.